Today, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to talk about, you know, modeling and how I got into it, some tips, and I guess just some things I wish I knew growing up, or before I became a model, or, you know, just advice I wish I got. So, firstly, how did I become a model? So, in 2019, I was just posting pictures as usual, as we all do on Instagram. And then I was like, hey, let me put hashtag scout me, hashtag model, hashtag blah, blah, blah. So I started putting random hashtags and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. This is so lame. Like, people are going to see me trying to become a model and this is so cringe. But I kept going. I was like, you know what? I really don't care. And then guess what? I had my first agency reach out to me and they DM'd me and they were like, hey, we saw your page. Like, do you want to come in and do a casting for our agency? And I was like, oh my gosh, because I checked out their page. They had some really cool models. I was like, wow, okay, awesome. They were like a small boutique agency. So they had probably a few thousand followers at the point, or maybe like 1,000 followers. They're closed down now. I would recommend them, but they closed down. And so I went in. I knew absolutely nothing. I had no kind of portfolio or any headshots. For those of you who don't know, usually, at least in London, at the time, you would walk with your portfolio, or some people have an iPad with their pictures on there, and then you give, in the actual interview, they take your measurements. They obviously see your height, take note of all these things. Usually, if you have your portfolio done, you would have this information at the bottom of your pictures. But I didn't know any of this. So I just went in and we figured it out. I told them, yeah, I've never done this before. They were really cool and we got along really well, and that was really nice. So they made it really easy because I felt like it was okay that I didn't know anything, and they were really inviting. So I appreciate them so much for that. But yeah, pretty much after that, I signed with them, and it was pretty slow for a while. But then all of a sudden, I was still like a few weeks, not that slow. Fortunately, it was within a few weeks, I believe, that I got an email or contact. They contacted me, basically telling me some castings had popped up, and they sent me forward for some castings. And some of those included I Saw It First, which was like a big, at the time, I don't know if it's still like poppin' or anything, but I Saw It First. It's like a big e-commerce website where you buy clothing. And so I went in and I had to go to Manchester, which was a like 2-hour long train ride from London. And so I went there, did the castings. Pretty much same thing happened. Went in. At this point, I had a headshot because my agency, this is the part I forgot. Before the castings, within that 3-week span, my agency were pretty much, getting me test shoots and building up my portfolio. And then they were obviously sending this to brands and things like that. So I had my portfolio this time and I had my measurements. And so I went in and I jumped into some outfits that they had selected for me. And I took some test shots and they really liked it. And then they booked me. And so I did a few, I can't remember, this was so long ago, but I did a few sessions with them. And then I also went to, at this point, I was doing, funny enough, my first job before this with the agency was hand modeling, which was interesting. That was interesting. Yeah, it was fun, just very precise and like, it was so interesting. But yeah, so then eventually I continued on. I don't think I was with this agency at this point, but later on I had a new agency. And this is when I went to do Pretty Little Thing. And it was fun. It was cool. I really liked the vibe there. Like, the makeup artist and the hairstylist was so talented. And I really enjoyed getting dressed up. Like, I'm such a girly girl / woman, feminine woman here. So I always enjoyed that. And yeah, I pretty much, one thing I would say, so that's the a bit about me and my modeling. What I would say is I wish I knew how important it was to be constantly working out and fit. I think because it's so competitive, especially if you're working with popular brands, you can't slack off. You know, I was finding myself eating like cheese fries when I was shooting for PLT, and that's fun. Like, it's great if you know your body, and I just wish I knew like how competitive it was. I wish I was in the mindset of kind of like every day committed to working out or like fitness, which I did now, and not because of a particular body type that you have or something like that, but just being my ultimate best, knowing that every day I was genuinely just into my fitness and committed. I think that's something important with the modeling industry, and it also applies to skincare. Like, let's be real. This sounds like kind of superficial, but it is technically it is a superficial industry. And to be honest, I would warn people about getting into the industry because it can play a lot of psychological games on you, and you compare yourself a lot. And there are a lot of people who have body dysmorphia because of the industry, which is very sad and very terrible. And I would like you to know, if you are pursuing a modeling career, just know you are perfectly perfect how you are. We're all perfectly imperfect in however God made us. Like, there are things that nobody's perfect in this world, you know, and when we embrace our beauty and uniqueness and our quote unquote flaws, we find so much peace. And if you're going into this space, just be prepared to have mental health breaks and to pour into yourself, because I did find myself at one point comparing myself a lot and losing myself a lot when it comes to the beauty industry, especially with the beauty standards of today. So yeah, another thing I would say, another tip I would give you guys is definitely have updated Polaroids, or what do they call them? I believe they're called Polaroids, but pretty much having shots of yourself, white like plain t-shirt, jeans, white background, like very simple digitals, like have digitals. This was something I wish I had more of. I knew to do more often, and because of, like, I was living with my dad at one point in London, and like the lighting was so dark in the place that we were, and yeah, it wasn't the best, like compared to like studio light or things like that. Invest in some good lighting, or, you know, even if you just go somewhere with good lighting with your friends or photographer, whoever, get fresh digitals. And this is, of course, especially to my people who are seeking for an agency right now, because usually these are things that the agencies do, but it's good to know as well if you are trying to, you know, do this through social media and trying to get an agency, maybe doing these digitals and sending it into modeling agency pages or emailing them with these stuff would really help them see your potential. But yeah, so fitness, diet, mental health, maintain your mental health. Polaroids or digitals, I would say also enjoy the process. There is no point in not enjoying it. Like, being anxious about it, comparing yourself all the time, like, these things are not good for you. If this industry brings you this kind of feeling, maybe it's not for you, you know? And that's okay. There's something else out there for you. There's always something for us. But prioritize how you feel. Enjoy the process. Make friends. Socialize. You'll meet some really cool people, especially if you're in London or in, you know, these really cool spaces with with a strong kind of social scene around the modeling industry. If that's your thing, enjoy it. I'm more introverted, so I wasn't really out there like that, but I did make a lot of friends through modeling, some of who are still my best friends to today. So yeah, I hope this helps. No matter what you're seeking in life, career, any kind of goals, remember to have God as your focus and ask Him to guide you. And I pray that you guys make it wherever you are aiming to make it. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and yeah, see you guys soon.